Traveling in Gypsy was great because we used to have a camera person called Hemant who actually told me, he says, you know, I took up the job because I saw you on the wheel of the Gypsy. So that I thought was really, really nice. And we had some great experiences actually. I remember the first time I went to interview a celebrity, it was Kapil Dev, after he had broken the world record with the number of wickets that he had taken. So during the course of the conversation, he suddenly started talking to me in Punjabi. He asked me if I was a Punjabi and I said yes. And he started talking to me in Punjabi and my Punjabi is atrocious. So I told him that. So he turned around and told me, don't worry, my English is equally bad. So we are on the same wavelength. I think I was more an entertainment person at heart. I mean, business never ever made sense to me. You know, even when we used to do India Business Report and we used to do business stories, I mean, they would just fly over my head. Main space where we went wrong was that we never became producers. We never really produced our content. We were always piggy riding on some other producer's content. So with the result, it worked for us. It worked for us in Singh is King. It worked for us in Welcome. But then we had to land up acquiring these projects or these films at astronomical costs, because everybody, all the so-called traditional producers, started looking at studios as cash cows. For example, we did a film called Gajni, which was a great brand building film, because it had Amir and it had, you know, a great positioning. So that was good for the brand. We made a very stupendous brand. But from whatever hundreds and thousands of crores that Gajni may have earned, we made only 3 crores or 4 crores. So that was the kind of business. The Indian film industry works still a lot on relationships, on trust, on personal equations. So for them, Raghav, who's the owner of the company, not fronting the company, became the issue. It wasn't about not partying with them or any such thing. And they are all still good personal friends of mine. So I don't think that was an issue. The issue was that if he is not the final authority whom we will take our project to, if something was to go wrong, or if the CEO was to move to another studio, then who do we go to? Where are we? So I think that was the issue. Well, this first reaction was absolute grief, like it would be. Again, it was like I said, that it was like a baby to all of us. So it's like, you know, having to give your baby away to somebody else. So there was a lot of crying, there was a lot of, at one level, anger, there was a lot of, difficult to explain in words actually, the kind of feeling it was. Actually, one of the biggest lessons of my life that I have learnt has been from Raghav. When he went through his health issue, which he's talked about in the book, and we were all in the US while he was undergoing treatment, and it was a tough treatment, and because we could see him suffering through that treatment. But I never ever heard him sort of break down. I never heard him cry. I never heard him say, God, you know, why me? None of the things, you know, which any other person would have just crumbled. And I only heard him asking the doctors, you know, doctors, I remember him saying, do I have a chance? And if I do, then how can I help you to cure me? I mean, that was the kind of attitude he had. So, I mean, if he couldn't play squash, he went to play golf. If he couldn't play golf, he found something else to do. So I think that was something that was one of the biggest lessons for me, and I carry that lesson forward. I tell my children about that, you know, when you're faced with an adversity in your life, there are clearly 2 paths that one can take. Either you break down or you just pick up and say, I'm going to fight this. And that's really what I learned from him, that I'm going to fight this.